Hey guys, Dan here with another pickups video. This is going to be February 2019 pickups. These are going to be all the books that I picked up in the month of February, of course. If that title wasn't obvious enough. Yeah, I got like way more books in February than I ever intended. And to be honest with you, I'm going to share with you all of them minus one, and it's so many books that without the one, it doesn't even make a difference because there's just so many of them. I'll start out with some of the free books I got. My local library, they know that I love to read graphic novels, so they had an extra copy of Sin City, The Hard Goodbye. This is the first volume in the series. I've already read this. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this yet, but it's a beautiful edition. I might just keep it and shelve it. Because, I mean, it is a wonderful, and like I said, beautiful edition. I might just keep that. I also got a copy of Maus from another library. If you've never read Maus, that's the World War II concentration camp / Holocaust graphic novel. It's based on a true event, so I mean that one's kind of interesting if you've never read it. I got a copy of that. It's just kicking around someplace. It kind of disappeared between the time I got it and now. Another book I picked up free from the library was Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein. This is something that I know it's like classic sci-fi. It's something that I've been wanting to read for a while. It's a really old, beat-up paperback copy. So I have a physical copy. I can't go ahead and say, well, gee, you know, I don't want to take the time to take it out or get it from Kindle or whatnot. I have a copy here. So I can read it whenever. And I have been quite successful. I do have to say, I have been very successful so far with my plan. I did mention in my end of the year pickups video my whole approach that I was going to do for this year when it came to taking down my to-be-read list. I've been very successful with that. I've been reading one book a month, if not 2 books a month, so that way I can take down like my very lengthy, well, I say very lengthy, but like I honestly do not have that many, you know, to-be-read books on a list. It is less than half of books that I've already read, because I've read like over 2,000, and my to-be-read list is like 1,000. I saw this, it was free, library discard book, The Sword of King Arthur. I've never heard of this, but I am a sucker for stories about King Arthur. Ever since in the 80s when I saw Excalibur, I was just in love with the King Arthur and Excalibur stories. So yeah, I'm a sucker for King Arthur, and I saw this. Never heard of it, but I'm willing to give it a shot because, like I said, I love that legend of King Arthur. Okay, now to get on to the big bag of books. My wife, she always knows about local events in our area, and she just kind of casually mentioned, because she knows I'm an avid reader. I mean, we've got piles of books around our house. When I go to the library, I take out stacks of library books. So she knows that I'm a very heavy user of the local library. She knew that they were having a bag book sale from one of the library chains in the area. I'd never been to a library book sale at this library, so I really didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure, because some places they have certain rooms that they do library book sales in. And like I said, I'd never been to this place. I'm going to get on to the experience of this place, because it's a very small library. Even though it is in the major city of Syracuse, it's like a suburb of Syracuse, but it was a very tiny library. And like everybody and their brother showed up for this book sale. Like there were people out the door for this book sale. It was unreal. Like I did, and they closed the door for the special. You know, they had the sale going on that weekend, but for the bag of books deal, they had the door like closed, so you couldn't go in there until it struck a certain time of the day. And there were just so many people, like they were just like spilling out onto the sidewalk. It was so frustrating, and it was kind of like, if you're somebody who's not liking being around like a crowds of people, it was definitely not for you. The noise of the alarm from the door constantly chiming because there were that many people that they were holding the door open because there were so many people just trying to get into the library. They were all out, lined up on the sidewalk. Somebody compared it to like Black Friday shopping. It was like that. It was insane. It was crazy. I've never been to a library book sale, especially a bag book sale, that was that bad. Let's just say that. But I got a huge bag of books, and I was surprised by some of the things I found there because I really did not anticipate seeing some of these books. For instance, a library discard of Batman Year One. Why would they discard this book? Like, you mean to tell me that nobody was still checking this book out? So now I have a copy of Batman Year One by Frank Miller. That one I'm probably going to save for my shelves. This is another one I've already read, but you know. Along with that, because it's so hard to find like graphic novels and trade paperbacks, you know, at library book sales. There's such a rare occurrence. This is the first time I've ever seen them at a library book sale. They also had Batman Incorporated, Most Wanted. This is another one that I've read, and I think this one was just okay. So I can see why this one would have been a discard, because maybe it hasn't been checked out as frequently as some of the more popular titles. But still, I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep that one or what I'm going to do with it. Now let's get on with the paperbacks and hardcovers that I picked up. I got a paperback copy of Stephen King's Lisey's Story. I vaguely remember hearing about this one. I'm not sure what it's about, but it's Stephen King, so I'm willing to give it a shot. Of course, it's just going to be a reader copy because, of course, somebody wrote like a price on the cover of that, which I hate when people mark up stuff like that. I've got a like-new copy of Harper Lee's Go Set a Watchman. Now, this is something that was on my to-be-read list. I mean, I don't even know if anybody even read this. I love the deckled edges. It's kind of neat. I guess a lot of people had mixed feelings on this. It kind of stirred up a lot of emotions. So this is definitely one I'm going to be reading. I don't know how soon I'm going to be reading it. And as always, if you guys have comments of certain books you want me to read, let me know down below, because I'm more than willing to fit these into a reading schedule. Also, I picked up Paper Towns because it was a fill a bag, and I'll admit I'm not a big YA reader, but I did see the film. I thought it was okay, and I was like, you know, I'm like, it is fill a bag, so I'll take a shot and throw this one in the bag, even though I'm not one of those people who like goes overboard for YA novels. I'm not a huge John Green fan. I've read a couple of his books, thought they were okay. Not something I'm like overly excited about, but I've got it just in case I want to read it someday in the future. Oh, this one I was super excited to see. Summer of Night. By Dan Simmons, and I come across this book I was super excited when I saw this there because this is one of those books that it's like it's been recommended to me a few times on the Reddit forums by different people. Like I always go when I read different recommendations. Like it's either I have different categories of subreddits I follow. I don't remember exactly which ones I saw this in a few times, but it was recommended a number of times, and it was something that's supposedly really good. So when I saw this there, I was like, oh my god, I gotta pick that up. So yeah, I haven't read any Dan Simmons in a very long time, so when I saw that, I was like jumping on that. This is kind of an odd catch, and this is a non-fiction. But I saw this there, Vladimir the Russian Viking. This is kind of like the history of the Viking roots in Russia, which I kind of had a little bit of background on anyways, because when I took it as an elective in college, early Russian history, due to my grandmother, her family being from Lithuania, was former USSR, so, you know, I was kind of interested in Russian history. So I figured I'd pick this up. I should have took these books out of this bag, because now it's kind of bent from sitting in the bag of books like that. I'll have to put it on a shelf and fix that. And last but not least, we have Carolyn Kepnes's You. I have to say about this book, this was so trendy like a year ago. I know everybody and their brother was showing this in the book community on YouTube. And I was just like, I'm like, that seems like a heavy chick lit kind of read, like something I'm not really interested in reading. But then, because I follow a lot of true crime podcasts and true crime groups on Facebook and Reddit, etc., a number of people were like, oh my god, have you seen this true crime related show on Netflix called You? And I went and checked it out, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed the show. It took me a while to binge it because it wasn't something that I wanted to binge right away and binge all the way through in a matter of days. I did enjoy it though. I loved how the episodes kind of flowed flawlessly. It played almost like a movie. Like there wasn't like too many seams. Like, you know, when they show shows that were formatted for television, they have those commercial breaks. But this show just kind of flowed naturally. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. I have seen other videos on YouTube that were like book to movie comparisons, or book to show comparisons, I should say, and people were like, oh, the Netflix show is radically different than the book. I'm willing to take that. Like, for instance, I just reviewed The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and that was like two different things. But I still enjoyed the book and the TV series both in their own ways. So I'm willing to give this a shot at some point. I don't know that I'll get to it this year. I really don't have my full-on reading schedule planned out for the year. I just kind of know what I'm reading in the next 2 or 3 months. So, like I said, if you think I should be reading this soon, let me know down below. If you've read any of these books, or you have an interest in seeing a review of any of these books, while I'm saying that, another thing I want to add is, a lot of these books I'm probably not going, some of these books I'm probably not going to do a book review of. Like, for instance, the Vladimir Russian Viking book. I probably would never do a book review of that unless it's exceptionally good. That's probably something I would just, like, do a written review either in my blog or on Goodreads. If you can go to my main channel, you can go ahead and follow me on Goodreads if you have a Goodreads account. That way you know, because I read a lot of other stuff that I don't make videos about. So if you're looking to find out about other books, other comics, graphic novels, stuff like that, you know, go ahead and follow me on Goodreads. The only way I'm really going to accept you as a friend is if you have a lot of books already that you've, because I always look to see, compare book ratings, and if I feel like you're a good match, like you've read a lot of the same stuff and you've got similar ratings, then I'll go ahead and follow you back too on Goodreads. But if you don't have hardly any books on Goodreads and your ratings are really drastically different from mine, I'll probably just let you follow me and I'm not going to bother following you back. Because I really only want to have like friends on Goodreads that have similar tastes in books, if you know what I mean. But that is all I got for you. I know this was a way bigger like pickups video than I had ever intended on it being. It is what it is. I have to film another book review after this. Might do that tomorrow, I don't know. I probably should do it tonight though, even though I don't want to. But that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Check you later.